Welcome to this MAXQDA Getting Started video tutorial. As the title suggests, this video will teach you everything you need to know to get started with MAXQDA in just a few minutes. The first thing MAXQDA lets you do is enter a username, which means you can always see who did what and when if you happen to be working in a team. On the right side of the welcome screen, you will see MAXQDA news, as well as links to free learning materials and other video tutorials. As a first step, you can then either open an existing project or create a new one, which I will do now. The MAXQDA project file basically works like a folder in which all of your analysis steps, and depending on the settings you've chosen, all of your actual data are stored, such as your interviews, images, or PDF files. With MAXQDA, you don't have to save your progress manually, because MAXQDA saves every action automatically in the project file itself. The first thing you'll see is this 4-window interface, which is one of MAXQDA's most popular characteristics because it's just so straightforward. It's so straightforward, in fact, you can explain it in just one sentence. You organize your data here, view and categorize it here, manage your categories, which are called codes in MAXQDA, here, and later on you can retrieve the segments you've coded here. Because you usually retrieve your coded segments at a later stage in your project, this 4th window is hidden at the moment. You can reveal it here in the Home tab, right next to these buttons here, which allow you to adjust the window display settings. First of all, we want to import some data, so I'm going to start by going to the Import tab. As you can see, you can import many different file types into MAXQDA. For example, texts, PDF files, tables, transcripts, images, and audio or video files. There are also special import functions for focus group transcripts, surveys, literature from reference managers, tweets, YouTube data, and websites. For now, I'll select this import function, and then select the files I want to import by holding down the Shift key. And voila, they're already imported. Alternatively, you can also import your data directly from Windows Explorer or MaxFinder using drag and drop. Now that we've imported our data, it makes sense to organize them a little bit first. The easiest way to do this is to use document groups, which you can use to sort your data by file type. Of course, this is just the simplest way you can freely organize documents. Later, you can also define variables for your documents. For interviews, for example, you might want to add relevant demographic information. These document variables can then be used, among other things, to compile documents with a certain characteristic, say by age or location, making it easy to manage even large amounts of data. However, we'll discuss all that in a separate tutorial. If you'd like to satisfy your curiosity now, simply click on one of these question marks here, which you'll find in almost every MAXQDA window. MAXQDA will then take you to the corresponding page of our comprehensive online manual. Now that you know the basics of importing and organizing your data, let's dive into one of our interviews by opening it with a double click in the document browser. The main purpose of the document browser is to allow you to code your data. For this reason, data editing is disabled by default to prevent any accidental changes being made. If you want to change your data in terms of content or formatting, you must first switch on Edit mode. You can now change your text as you like, or switch from paragraph numbering to line numbering and back again. But, as I just said, this window is mainly used for coding, so let's do that. First, I select the segment I want to code, and then I click on this button here to create a new code. Now I can enter a name for my new code, choose a code color, and optionally add a description or definition. After clicking on OK, a coding stripe appears here that marks the coded segment. By right-clicking in this area, you can adjust some settings to determine which codes get displayed and how, but I'll let you figure out the details for yourself. To adjust the boundaries of this segment later, just highlight the segment again, right-click on the coding stripe, and select Recode with highlighted segment. In addition to this basic procedure for coding your data, MAXQDA offers several other convenient functions. If you want to start off with a grounded theory approach, for example, you like the options for open coding and in vivo coding. Power users with a deductive category system might also like the keyboard shortcuts and code favorites options. Other popular code-related functions are the comments you can write for individual coded segments, or the option of differentiating these segments by giving them weight scores. You can double-click a coding stripe to enter a short comment for a segment, and if you now display the document sidebar by clicking this icon, your comments are shown directly next to the text. In addition to coding, the document browser also offers you several other options for working with your data. One of the most popular functions is the memo function. You can either select a segment and right-click on it to add a memo to it, or simply double-click on this column here. This will add a memo at that specific location, which you can then fill in with further information, a label, or a link to a specific code or coded segment. Memos can be as long as you need them to be, and just like comments, they can be displayed in the sidebar. You can also add memos to a document, to a code, or as a free memo that's not attached to anything. Take a look at the Memos tab in the main menu to see all the memos of a specific type, or use the Comprehensive Memo Manager to keep track of all your memos so you don't get lost in a virtual chaos of notes later on. Another function which is useful at the beginning of projects is the mode for paraphrasing texts and images, which you can activate here in the Analysis tab. Once you've activated paraphrase mode, all you need to do is select a segment and write your paraphrase. Your paraphrase will then be displayed in the right-hand column instead of the comments. Later, these paraphrases can be used to create a new code system, but that's jumping ahead a little bit at this stage. Now let's look at the third window, the code system. Here you can see the code I just created, with a memo containing the description of the code. With these buttons here, you can insert a new top-level code or a new subcode. Moving codes is just as easy. All you have to do is click and drag them either below or on top of each other. If you want to merge two codes into one, just drag the code onto this rectangle here. To change a code color, right-click on the code and pick one of these options, or choose any other color you like. Code colors help differentiate topics in the document browser and can play a vital part in some of MAXQDA's visualization tools later on. The code system can of course also be used for direct coding via drag and drop. Now that I've coded some segments, you can see these numbers here and here. They display the frequency of coded segments per code or per document. If you adjust the settings via the gear symbol here, you can also choose to display these frequencies for just a selection of your data. Now let's see how you're able to find these coded segments again. If you open the Retrieved Segments window, this is very easy to do. First, you simply activate the documents you're interested in, and then you activate the specific codes you're interested in. With the simple coding query, which is the default retrieval mode, all the segments from the activated documents coded with the activated codes will be displayed. Of course, this is only the simplest way to retrieve your coded data. In addition, the complex coding query, which is a more advanced retrieval mode, gives you several other advanced options for finding patterns in your data. Here you can see how many coded segments were found in how many documents. Below this is a list of the locations. In this case, they've been sorted according to the document. However, you can also sort the location by code or by code weight. Below each coded segment is the source information, which tells you from which document the segment originates and which code was assigned to it. A click on the coding stripe, or on the document or code name, makes the document browser immediately display the original location of the segment in the document. The comments you've assigned to the segments can also be displayed in an additional column, just like in the document browser. Finally, you can also continue to code or recode your segments directly in this list using drag and drop. And to save the selection of coded segments permanently, all you have to do is add a new code to them all with this button here. And if you want to continue working with them outside MAXQDA, you can export them to Word or Excel here. And that's it! Now you know all the basics of working with MAXQDA. And you might want to learn about some more advanced features. For example, if you're working more inductively at the beginning and have a long list of codes, creative coding can help you organize these codes. If you're satisfied with the code system itself, but you want to check the assignments again, then our Smart Coding tool can help you there. You can also summarize your coded work with the summary features, or use the lexical search tool to search for words and automatically code the matches. MAXQDA also gives you plenty of options for analyzing patterns in your codes and documents. Very popular in this context are MAXQDA's visual tools, with which you can visualize the occurrence and relationships of codes in single documents or across multiple documents. And you can quickly and easily display word frequencies in the form of a word cloud. To learn more about all of these options, check out our video tutorial library or the MAXQDA online manual. We have downloadable guides, and we also offer free 1-hour introductory webinars in different languages. If you're looking for workshops in your area or online, go to our training website. You can also search our website for professional trainers and consultants, or even become one yourself. And we'd love to welcome you at our annual MAXQDA user conference, the MQIC, held in spring every year in Berlin. Until then, all the best with your project.